There comes a moment in every person's life when the mirror tells the truth. Not the mirror hanging on the wall, but the one inside your mind. It asks a question that nobody else can answer for you. Have you really reached your limit? Or have you only reached the point where life became uncomfortable? Most people never answer that question honestly. They stop the moment things become difficult and call it their limit. They feel tired and call it impossible. They fail once and call it destiny. They hear one opinion and allow it to become their identity. But the truth is, your first limit is almost never your real limit. It is usually the place where your comfort ends and your growth begins. That is why you must push yourself until everything becomes possible. Not because the journey is easy, not because someone is going to reward you tomorrow, but because there is a version of you waiting on the other side of today's. Discipline that your current self has never met. I remember watching a man restoring an old house that everyone else had given up on. The windows were broken. The walls were cracked. The roof leaked every time it rained. Neighbors laughed and said it would be cheaper to tear it down and start over. Every day he showed up with the same toolbox. One board at a time. One brick at a time. One room at a time. For months, nothing looked different. People drove past and thought he was wasting his time. But he wasn't building for the people driving by. He was building for the family that would one day call that place home. 1 year later, the same people who laughed stopped their cars just to admire what had been created. The house didn't change in one day. It changed because one man refused to stop showing up. Your life works the same way. You don't become extraordinary because of one incredible decision. You become extraordinary because you make ordinary decisions consistently enough that they produce extraordinary results. That's what people fail to understand. They celebrate the breakthrough. They ignore the thousands of quiet moments that created it. Every successful life has invisible chapters. The chapters where nobody believed. Nobody applauded. Nobody noticed. Those chapters matter more than the ones everyone sees, because that's where character is built. It's easy to work hard when everyone supports you. It's much harder to keep going when nobody knows you're trying. Can you stay committed when there are no compliments? Can you stay disciplined when there are no results yet? Can you stay focused when your friends don't understand your vision? Those questions determine your future far more than your talent ever will. Talent may open a door. Discipline decides whether you stay in the room. One lesson changed the way I approached every challenge. Stop asking whether something is possible. Start asking what version of yourself would make it possible. That's a completely different question. Because the obstacle may not need to change. You may need to change. The opportunity may already exist. The discipline simply hasn't caught up to it yet. Imagine carrying a heavy weight for the very first time. It feels impossible. Your muscles shake. Your body wants to quit. But weeks later, the same weight feels lighter. Did the weight become smaller? No. You became stronger. Many of the problems in your life are exactly like that. You don't need a smaller challenge. You need greater strength. You don't need life to lower its standards. You need to raise yours. The strongest people I have ever met weren't the ones who had the easiest lives. They were the ones who refused to let difficult lives produce weak minds. Pressure introduced them to strength they didn't know they had. Loss taught them gratitude. Failure taught them wisdom. Loneliness taught them self-respect. Disappointment taught them patience. Pain became a teacher instead of a prison. That's what happens when you push yourself, so you begin seeing obstacles differently. You stop asking, why is this happening? And you start asking, what is this preparing me for? Those are the questions that create resilient people. Think about a pilot learning to fly. Training doesn't begin on perfect sunny days. Pilots learn to handle turbulence, strong winds, low visibility, unexpected situations. Because anyone can fly when conditions are perfect. The real test comes when conditions are not. Life trains you the same way. It doesn't prepare you only through victories. It prepares you through uncertainty. Every difficult season is teaching you something success alone never could. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they need confidence before taking action. But confidence is usually the reward for action, not the requirement. You become confident by keeping promises to yourself. You become confident by surviving difficult days. You become confident by proving to yourself that you can continue even when everything inside you wants to stop. Confidence isn't built in comfort. It's built in commitment. And commitment has a price. You'll miss parties. You'll wake up earlier than everyone else. You'll say no when everyone else says yes. You'll continue working after everyone else has stopped. Not because you're obsessed with being busy, because you're obsessed with becoming better. Every morning you have two choices: protect your comfort or build your future. Both choices have consequences. Comfort feels good today. Discipline feels good tomorrow. Comfort gives immediate pleasure. Discipline creates lasting freedom. The life you want is hidden inside choices most people refuse to make. That is why so few people ever reach their potential. Not because they're incapable, because they stop pushing long before they discover what they're actually capable of. You have more strength than you've used, more courage than you've tested, more resilience than you've discovered, more discipline than you've demanded from yourself. But none of it appears while you're standing still. Potential only reveals itself through pressure. Just like coal becomes a diamond under pressure, character becomes greatness under discipline. Years from now, people may look at your life and assume you were naturally gifted. They'll never see the mornings you wanted to quit, the nights you doubted yourself, the opportunities you created through persistence, the habits that quietly transformed your life. Success always looks simple from a distance. Up close, it looks like sacrifice. Push yourself until your excuses become smaller than your purpose. Push yourself until your habits become stronger than your emotions. Push yourself until discipline becomes your identity instead of your struggle. Because there will come a day when the things that once seemed impossible will simply become your normal life. And on that day you'll realize nothing magical happened. You simply refused to stop pushing. And when you refuse to stop pushing, something incredible begins to happen. The things that once terrified you slowly lose their power. The challenges that once felt impossible become part of your daily routine. The goals that once looked like distant dreams begin to move closer with every discipline. Not because life suddenly became easier, but because you became stronger than the obstacles that once controlled you. That is how impossible things become possible. Not in one dramatic moment, not because of luck, not because someone finally believed in you. They become possible because you decided that quitting would no longer be part of your story. One of the greatest misconceptions about success is that successful people somehow avoid difficult days. They don't. They experience disappointment, rejection, setbacks, failure, uncertainty, and fear just like everyone else. The difference is that they don't allow difficult days to become permanent identities. A bad day doesn't make them believe they have a bad life. A failed attempt doesn't convince them they are failures. A closed door doesn't make them stop knocking. Instead, they understand something that changes everything. Life tests your commitment before it rewards your consistency. There was an old craftsman in a small workshop who spent months carving a single piece of wood. Visitors would walk into his shop and ask the same question: "Why are you taking so long?" He would smile and continue working. Every cut had a purpose. Every detail mattered. Every mistake required patience to correct. Months later, that ordinary piece of wood had become a masterpiece. The people who questioned his process now admired his work. What they didn't understand was that the masterpiece wasn't created on the final day. It was created in the quiet hours when nobody believed the process was worth it. Your future is being carved exactly the same way. Every disciplined morning matters. Every difficult decision matters. Every hour you spend learning matters. Every temptation you resist matters. Even when it feels like nothing is changing, something is changing. You are, and that is the greatest transformation of all. Most people spend their lives asking for easier circumstances. Very few ask to become stronger people. But strength changes everything. A stronger mind handles criticism differently. A stronger character responds to failure differently. A stronger spirit refuses to surrender when life becomes difficult. You don't need fewer storms. You need a stronger foundation. Imagine building a bridge across a deep valley. The workers don't begin in the middle. They begin by strengthening both sides, because they know the bridge will eventually carry tremendous weight. Your daily habits are building that bridge. Every workout adds another beam. Every book adds another support. Every disciplined decision strengthens the structure. Then one day, opportunities begin crossing that bridge because you finally built something strong enough to carry them. People often pray for bigger opportunities without realizing bigger opportunities require bigger character. The weight of success can crush an undisciplined person. That is why preparation always comes before promotion. Before life trusts you with more, it watches what you do with what you already have. How you treat your mornings, how you manage your time, how you respond to disappointment, how you keep your promises when nobody is watching. Those moments are preparing you for responsibilities you cannot yet see. Another truth about pushing yourself is that you eventually stop competing with other people. Comparison steals energy. Growth creates energy. The only person who truly matters is the version of yourself that existed yesterday. Did you become wiser today? More disciplined today? More patient today? More focused today? If the answer is yes, then you're already winning, because greatness isn't built by defeating everyone else. It's built by refusing to be defeated by your old habits. One day you'll notice something remarkable. The things you once prayed for have become your normal life. The discipline that once felt impossible has become automatic. The early mornings no longer feel painful. The hard work no longer feels unusual. The consistency that once demanded effort has become your identity. That is what pushing yourself does. It changes what feels normal. There will always be voices trying to convince you to settle. Some people will tell you to slow down because your discipline makes them uncomfortable. Others will say you're asking too much of yourself. Don't let people who have accepted average define what excellence should look like. Respect everyone. Love everyone. But don't borrow limits from people who have stopped believing in their own potential. Remember this. Every time you choose comfort over purpose, your future becomes smaller. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, your future becomes larger. Your life expands in the direction of your courage. One decision at a time, one habit at a time, one difficult day at a time. Years from now, someone will ask how you achieved everything you did. They'll expect a secret. There won't be one. You'll simply remember all the ordinary days when quitting would have been easier. The mornings when the alarm rang and you still got up. The evenings when you kept working after everyone else stopped. The lonely seasons when nobody noticed your effort. The failures that taught you wisdom. The disappointments that built your patience. The sacrifices that shaped your character. Those moments were never wasted. They were investments. Because every drop of discipline earns interest. Every act of consistency multiplies. Every promise you keep to yourself strengthens the person you're becoming. And one day, you'll stand in front of a life that once seemed impossible. Not because you were the smartest, not because you were the luckiest, not because everything went your way, but because every single time life gave you a reason to stop, you found one more reason to continue. So when tomorrow arrives, don't ask yourself whether you feel motivated. Ask yourself whether your future deserves today's effort. Don't ask whether the journey is hard. Ask whether the destination is worth becoming the person it requires. Because impossible is often just a word people use before someone disciplined proves them wrong. Push yourself when nobody believes in you. Push yourself when progress is invisible. Push yourself when the results are delayed. Push yourself when fear whispers that you've done enough. Because every time you refuse to surrender, you are teaching your mind that your purpose is greater than your excuses. And eventually, there comes a day when you look back at the person you used to be and barely recognize them. Not because your circumstances changed first, because you changed first. Your standards became higher. Your discipline became stronger. Your faith became deeper. Your focus became sharper. Your excuses became weaker. Your character became unshakable. That is the moment everything that once seemed impossible begins to look achievable. Not because the world suddenly gave you permission, but because you finally gave yourself permission to become everything you were capable of becoming. So keep pushing, keep building, keep believing, keep showing up, Because the life you've been dreaming about is not waiting for a miracle. It is waiting for the version of you that refuses to quit until everything becomes possible.